Hello, and welcome to my video. Today I would like to speak to you about one of the audiobooks I have enjoyed listening to. I usually like listening to audiobooks or podcasts while doing the dishes, trying my hand at gardening, or performing menial tasks around the house. Some other times I like lying in bed in the quiet of night and listening to a mystery novel with my eyes closed, imagining the scenes of a story playing out. Anyways, before I talk to you about this particular audiobook that I've enjoyed, I would like to direct you on where you can listen to it for free yourselves among many other available audiobooks free of charge with no strings attached. Oh, and by the way, this isn't a paid promotion. I'm just spreading the word about the dedication and kindness of a group of avid book lovers with the mission of providing people with free audiobooks. A group whose work and selflessness I greatly admire. Ever heard of LibriVox? LibriVox is a group of volunteer readers from all around the world that records audiobooks of books that have been passed to the public domain. This means that, while you will not find modern, commercial works in their releases such as Percy Jackson, the Harry Potter books, or the newest sci-fi novel, you can find audiobooks of the old classics and older literature such as Alice in the Wonderland, Bram Stoker's Dracula, The Art of War, and so on. You can find audiobooks from a wide variety of genres, from fantasy fiction to philosophy, to history, to detective mysteries, poetry, to biographies and books about gardening. You can find works from authors like Lovecraft and Poe and even Dostoevsky. Do note, however, that if you are searching for audiobooks by the name of the author, make sure to choose one of the available versions that is recorded in your preferred language. Sometimes there are books recorded as dramatic readings and different characters in the book are read by different voice actors, so listening to the audiobook is like listening to a radio play. It is great. Just keep in mind that the volunteer readers aren't professional voice actors, so the quality of the audiobooks may vary from audiobook to audiobook, although, personally, I have listened to more than a dozen of them LibriVox audiobooks, and I have never been put off by the voice of a volunteer. All of them were fluent with clear pronunciations and intriguing voices that drew me into the stories. You can visit the official site of LibriVox, LibriVox.org, to listen to the audiobooks or download them without having to register anywhere. There are also some apps around that compile the free audiobooks of LibriVox into digital libraries on your mobile device. Although those apps do usually have a better search function than LibriVox's official site, and you can filter works by popularity to find what other people found enjoyable, it is unclear whether the apps are profiting from LibriVox's free releases by putting them in new platform, or whether LibriVox has a partnership going on with at least one of those apps. So, if you appreciate the free releases of LibriVox and want to show them your appreciation and support them in continuing to create new audiobooks, I would suggest you donate to them directly on their official site instead of donating on an unknown app, which is most likely profiting from the contribution of the generous volunteers of LibriVox. Also, during the making of this video, I found out that LibriVox has a YouTube channel here with the same name, so you might want to check those playlists to see if you will find something to your liking. Now, let's talk about the audiobook I would like to recommend to you. It is called Living on Half a Dime a Day by Sarah Elizabeth Harper Monmouth and was published around the 1850s. The book narrates the real-life story of an old, disabled widow who, after losing her husband during the war and losing most of her money in a failed investment, ends up living in poverty all by herself at a rundown farm, determined to live by her own rules and to proudly spend the rest of her life in the crumbling farm of her ancestors. instead of dying in some horrid home for the destitute sleeping on a borrowed mattress. Sarah devises a plan to make ends meet on her measly budget of $40 a year. The entire audiobook is a collection of diary entries narrating Sarah's daily life at the farm, detailing her struggles with finding new ways to live frugally and to make use of whatever she has lying around, repurposing things most people would dismiss and finding small silver linings and meaning in the tasks she performs to provide for herself while living her lonesome and restricted life. Sometimes a tiny smidgen of added comfort is her reward from her hard toil. Other times taking her mind off of things and giving herself something to work towards instead of contemplating her poverty and despair is all there is to a task. Sometimes the feeling of pride and accomplishment at what she can accomplish through sheer perseverance is the real payoff for Sarah's constant attempts to make something out of nothing. The imagery evoked by the author's descriptions conveys the gravity of the situation and provokes feelings of gratitude for what we take for granted, while bringing out the human element of a conflicted soul to the forefront of the narration. The audiobook's duration is about a little over an hour long, and while some of Sarah's solutions to save money in the 1850s may not prove sufficient in the modern world, the audiobook is still worth a listen to dip into the mindset of her era and experience a person's outlook from another time period. Most of all, this book tackles the usually morose themes of loneliness and poverty in a surprisingly uplifting way, choosing to focus on the triumphs of a determined spirit, a cunning mind, and eager hands over the sentiment of a heavy heart, despairing eyes, and an empty stomach. The book focuses on what can be done to improve a bad situation rather than making a spectacle out of the stagnating indecisiveness that takes over the heroes of countless fictional human dramas. Well, that's it. I hope you will find some LibriVox audiobooks to your liking. And if you happen to listen to my recommendation, tell me what you think about the book. Until next time, have an awesome day.